I'll put this on YouTube later and you can all have a look at it. Now, on the left-hand side down here, and you're going to see this little red circle going around. And what it is if you have a recent iPad, you can use a mouse. And the reason I'm using a mouse today is it lets you see where I am and what I'm doing. So I want to just cover a little bit down here. I'm using PDF Expert in iCloud. That's automatic. I like that and I use it. But if you want to do it in Dropbox or straight to your computer or so forth, you can. If you don't like any of those, you can click here and there's other things that you can synchronize with. But we have to synchronize the data so that it goes to our computer and it's on our iPad at the same time. I simply use PDF Expert in iCloud and it works perfectly for me. It's backed up. I have a brand new iPad. It had the big one. Reason I did it is I had a big one before and then I had the little one. I'm on about my 12th iPad, but I'd like to keep up to date so that when I'm showing this stuff, it's always the latest. So what I did was I started with other pieces of software and had a few going at the same time, and I just couldn't find anything as good as this. So I created a folder, and I'm going to preview my system so you can see what we're going to create. We'll just go into this one that says Properties. And in there, I have 3 folders: Forms, Current, and Closed. Let's open up the Forms folder. We're going to create this in a minute, but I want you to see the overview first. When I open up the Forms folder, these are forms that our company has that I use in partnership agreement, pre-buyer interview, pre-listing interview, receiving a check, showings, all the showings. I want to record all my showings, and property tax rates here in Ontario, here in Toronto, I should say. I've got them over the years. I download them. So anything that I want to keep as using those forms all the time, they're in my Forms folder. Current, I won't go in there. Those are my current clients. And I don't want you talking to my current clients right now. So that's my own private little folder. We won't go in there. But let's go into Closed. These are transactions I closed. These are not pretend. These are the real transactions that I closed. And I like to keep everything on every deal. I frown at the word deal. I prefer to say transactions, but I'll say deal because it's quicker and easier to say. Let's just scroll down a little bit. I'll show you a few of them. I want to go down to 99 Felicity. This was a deal that closed while I was down south. And here's the paperwork. There's my check going into the commission check going into my bank account. There's all the photos of the property, everything about the property, all the details. My CMA is down here, scanning that I did. In this case here, this is the one, oh yeah, I'll just open this up. I said to my client, as I say, can you make a list of all the things that you think are important in selling your home? Well, this is the typical list that I would get from them that is important. That way I don't miss things. They say, why didn't you think about the deck was being renovated? Well, I didn't have to think about it. She reminded me about it, okay? So I do that, and then I always keep all that stuff with me. Up here, offers. I had a couple of offers, and here's the final offer in here. I'm showing this because I don't ask for an 801 form. My brokerage doesn't ask for one, as long as I keep copies of all offers. Now, these are also uploaded to a thing called SkySlope, which we have all our transactions uploaded to. And all my offers are kept there all the time. I also have a copy of them. Let's go down a little bit more. Photos. So here's the photos of the property. And I've still got them all in here. I'm sorry, they're small to look at here because I reduce the size of them on these ones to make sure that they work okay on MLS. In here, these are the bigger ones. So I have all the photos of the property. And there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show it to you in a moment. And again, this is just simply an overview. Let's go back out here again, out to the properties. I want to show you 23 gig. I have a particular reason for doing that. 443, I'm way past it. I'm going to go back up here. And this is the property, 23 gig and 23 gig 2. This is a property in Ajax. So I worked with these people to find the home. I'm the buyer's agent on this transaction. So here is the checklist, the buyer representation agreement. I won't go through, but as you can see, all the documentation is there. Now, why is that important? Well, let's go in here. Here's the sheet that I use when I do showings. It's changed a little bit over the years. However, everything that John and Tracy looked at, August the 3rd, we looked at that property, rough inside without furniture. August the 9th, small, needs a lot of work. Put on a short list, gave it a 5. I grade them out of 5. And it's fun with the client because I say, let's grade out of 5. And they gave it a 5. They really liked it, but it wasn't quite the one. And finally, this one came up and we made the offer on it. And that was on August the 10th. We had the showing between 2 and 3, and we made an offer on that property. What do I have? I have everything that they looked at. What else I have is I have all the listings here too, because I download every listing. So why would I delete it? So I have them all in here, and any notes on the property are there. Tracy likes this area. So I take all my notes on this. This is an overview to show you. Now, what's important about this one also is a few years later, John and Tracy call me up and they say, you know what, Ed? We're thinking about selling. Okay, where are you going? Well, we're going to move up north. Bob Cajun. We're going to move, retire somewhere up there. So, how's the market? Market's good. Market's not bad at all. Let's go back in here, and I'm at my computer, and I will go into that, and I'll go down here, and I'll say, well, I remember your house, and it's a nice house, got lovely, remember those hardwood floors, you had a corner fireplace. Oh, you remember it? Well, how could I forget it? It was such a nice house. I remember everything, made a dining room and showed well. The master, you had a fireplace in the basement. I can't remember if it was real or not. And you were worried about things showing on the black counter. I know everything about the house, and I'm talking to him 5 years later. But I've got all this data with me all the time. It never leaves me, and it takes so little space. So now, when I go back in, and I'm dealing with them on the second one here, then I've got all the new photos here. All the new photos, which are pretty similar to the ones that they had 5 years previously. Oh, and I forgot to show you this one. I got to show you in just a second. When I was talking to him, I said, and tell me, how do you enjoy the hot tub on the deck? Oh my gosh, we had to get rid of it. We couldn't afford the electric bill. Is that right? Yeah, it was too expensive, so we got rid of the hot tub. So you simply know everything about the property that you sold them 5 years ago. And they like that. They really like that. And I think it's a good thing to do anyways. So I've got everything for every deal. And here's a lot of transactions I've done here. The ones that I could still record over the years, and it's more than that, but I couldn't get them all in. So anyways, that's the system that I'm using. I'll just show you one more. I did the absentee owners years and years ago. And this is in that day when you could go up to the city hall in Scarborough City Hall, when it was a city hall, and look up and see owner or tenant, owner or tenant. And if I had a tenant, I'd look, see the owner was, and I go up those names down. I had a lot of them, and it worked really well. And one lady called me, and she owns 18 townhouses. Well, I was really happy about that. So this is what I've done. 443 Mats Road, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 4, 7, 10, 11, 19, 23, 32. Those are the units I've sold for one client. Through continual follow-up, having all the information on every transaction. And guess what? We have 8 more to go. I think I may expire before they do. So anyways, it's just having everything with you all the time. Okay. Now, also in PDF Expert, I'm going to create a new document just to show you the bottom right-hand corner. If I tap on that, up will come this, and I can scan a document. If I have Scanner Pro, I can create a new blank one or a note. I'll just create a blank one here, The reason I'm doing that is I just want to show you the toolbar up at the top up here. Okay, we have annotate. So I can use a pencil. That's with the mouse. I can write my name with my Apple Pencil. I can use a felt marker. I can use an eraser. Okay, so what you have to do when you get PDF Expert is play with it. Edit, text, tap where I want it. Tap my microphone. 123 Anytime Avenue, Scarborough, Ontario. So I don't have to write everything in. You've got a voice control on this iPad with PDF Expert. So I use that a lot also. Sometimes you shouldn't use it in front of a client, because I had one where the client lived at 3 Rathnelly here in Midtown Toronto. And it said 3 rat in the alley. So you have to be careful that the client doesn't want you necessarily when you do it. So also, I can go up top right here. I can select that item on the right, halfway down. I don't want to keep that. Delete it. Delete it. I can put it back if I change my mind, or just let it go and I don't really want it. So I'm tapping done. So I want to now create what I showed you, so you can create exactly the same thing. And believe me, it will work with everything that you need in your real estate business. It's your filing cabinet is on your iPad, is it. I have a filing cabinet because I've got tax forms and, you know, blank paper I use and stuff. I do not have a deal filing cabinet. I don't own one. I don't need one, because everything is on my iPad. So let's create that. So I'm going to create down here, and this time I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it demo. Okay, so this is a demo. Okay, and in my demo, I'll open it up, and I'm going to create 3 folders in there, of course. And I'm going to create closed. I'm going to create active. And I'm going to create forms. Okay, that's my 3 folders. So let's say I won't bother with the forms at this time, but I'm going to go in and I want to work with Ed and Gloria. That's me and Gloria. Gloria is my wife. Okay, so let's go in there. So we have a new client, Ed and Gloria. So that's my client. In this particular case, they're going to sell their condo, and they again are moving up to Bob Cajun. They got a really nice cottage up there on Pigeon Lake. Yeah,
Pigeon Lake.
Yeah, okay. I was going to go up to Clear Lake or Scugog, but I'll settle for Pigeon. Okay. So I'll go inside of here, and I'm going to create a folder, and the folder is going to be 336 Spadina Road. That's where I live now. So I'm going to list that property for Ed and Gloria, and they're going to buy something. Okay, and I'll just name it purchase. So that'll be the showings folder, you might say. I could do it that way also. I can rename that later, the name of the property that they purchased, because everything I do with them as a buyer will be in there. But what do I need now? I need some forms. Well, to get the forms, all of us have gone to edsclubs.com, right? When you go to edsclubs.com, just go there, and on the upper part up here, tap on forms. And this is your goal planning form. If you use Trello, I can do them. I'm thinking about doing classes on Trello too. And PDF forms. So here's the forms I want. So I want to bring those in and put them into my forms folder, and then I can copy them into Ed and Gloria. Okay. So you just tap on these forms. Now watch this carefully. When you do, and I'm using Safari, I'm not using Google Chrome or Firefox or any other. This will work perfectly with Safari. There's ways to do it with the others, but use Safari. That little box right there will appear. You tap on that box, save the files. But if you go to the bottom, you'll probably find save the files down here. You can edit the actions and force it up. So it's always at the top. That's what I've done. So I'm going to save it files, and I'm going to go into PDF Expert. And I'm going to go into demo, and I'll put it into my forms. Save. Simple as that. That's now in my forms. Let's close that. Let's go and get the pre-buyer interview. Whoops, I didn't mean to copy that, sorry. Copying won't work. You got to save it to files. And same thing, it'll default to whatever you did last. So let's get rid of that screen, and let's go back and we'll get the showings form. And I'll bring them all in. Pretty easy to do once you get the whole thing set up, and we'll save that to files. And we'll do one more, which was, I think, the receipt. Because I'm going to receipt a check for you later. Up here and save the files. Save. Okay, so we're done with that. So let's just go back here and let's get rid of that one. We don't need that anymore. And we'll go into here. And I'm going to go up here, Ed and Gloria. My forms. There's all my forms now. They're in there. Okay. So I can select here. Select. And I'm going to go pre-buyer interview and showings. Okay, I'm going to copy them upper right. And I'm going to go into properties. Wait a minute. Close current, hold on a second. Close current. E. Just going to, demo. I'm sorry, what am I doing? I want to go into active, Ed and Gloria, and this is the purchase. So we'll copy them into purchase. Sorry to take so long. Done. Okay, now the pre-listing here, we want that, and the receipt to go into 336 benign. Copy, and same thing. We're going to go into properties, demo, bear with me. Oh, no. Sorry, I'll be with you in a second. And I've got so many things going on, I'm not sure I put them into the right folder, but it doesn't matter. Because I'm trying to do old with the new. So demo completed. Forms, you got the forms, you got the active, Ed and Gloria, and the purchase. At least we got that. So, and I copied the receipt. So I'm going to select the receipt and pre-listing interview, and I want to move that into current properties. Oh, it's sorry. I'm trying to do too much in the same thing with two things. Now, let's go. I'm going to pre-buyer interview. When I'm doing this one here, I can, hold on a second. I'm on edit. You want to make sure you're on annotate up here. If you go to edit, you can actually edit this PDF. So in this here with the buyer showings form, I'm going to take down their name, their mailing address, phones, family, moving to, and this is important down here, moving to, and I'm going to stick with Bob Cajun just for fun. Where are you going? Well, we're going to Bob Cajun. Okay, when do you want to be there? Well, we're about 6 months from now. Okay, great. And why are you going there? I'm retiring. Okay, great. Why, when, and where? 3 most important questions we can ask a buyer. where are you going, when you want to be there, and why are you moving? I don't care what order you ask them, but those questions you got to ask. And then I'll go through and I talk about their, what are you looking for, the type of house, and I get all the information that I can, all righty, and all kinds of space at the bottom of the page. So you download these forms at edstubbs.com, unless you have your own forms, and use those if you want to, but put them in here so that you have them all the time. Showings. So in here, I'm going to take a record of all the showings that we do. So I'm actually going to log into Trev. Let me get my phone so I get I had to recharge my phone this morning because it went down to nothing. Because I forgot to charge it. So let's go in here. And I'm going to log into Trev. Again, when you're logging into Trev with the iPad, your best bet is Safari with the iPad. Yes, you can use Chrome, but if you want to download, it works better. So I would have logged in earlier, but it doesn't allow you to log in and stay logged in. So you have to go through it. Luckily, oh, come on. Allow. Maybe 291. Okay, we got it. So let's go in. I'm using Matrix. It's pretty well the same thing if you use, well, no matter what you use. No matter where you are, you may be using a different MLS, but the idea should work the same. So I'm going to go into properties here. And I'm going to just go into search, residential freehold. And I'll just call them all up and get the results here. And it's going to give me a zillion on a list here. So let's just go in. I'll just click anyone. Okay, so here's the house. Okay, I'm going to show them that house, let's say. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on the name. And I want to just stretch it out like so. And I want to copy that. You can do it here, you can do it later. You'll see what, you don't have to, but it'll help you. And I'm going to go tap here. And I'm going to okay, let's go to copy the PDF expert. E, done an error. I'm sorry, I'm having a little problem with MLS for some reason, guys and gals. This doesn't usually happen, but sometimes it does. Let's try that again. Sorry, I actually did something wrong. At the bottom here, on your MLS, you should see print. I'm sorry, I should have done this at first. Hit print, and when you set print, look for print the PDF. This is definitely on Matrix, but somewhere you'll be able to print the PDF. Okay, and when you do, it's generating the PDF. And again, that address, I could copy that address here, but now I'm going to tap on that. And I'm going to save the files. And I'm going to go into demo. And I'm going to go into active in Gloria and into their purchase, because this is a house that they're going to purchase possibly. Okay, so we got that one. So let's go back again. One more, and let's grab another property here. And I'm going to hold my finger down on that. And then I'm going to grab this much of it. Well, let me get back into PDF Expert here. And here's the one that I just downloaded, okay? There's the one I just downloaded, it's in there now. I'm going to tap on the address. I'm going to delete the whole address. And then the little thing here is paste. So what I did was I copied the address and pasted it in there. So now I know the address of the property. Now also, I'm going to open up here. And I'm going to go edit PDF, text box here. And I'm going to paste Thomas Cook Avenue. So I've got it in my showings form here, and I've got it addressed so I can also see the whole thing. So let's go back to MLS. I'm going to copy this one now. Copy. You don't have to copy it. You could type it later if you want to. I'm going to go down here to print at the bottom and print the PDF. It's generating a PDF now. And it's going to default to where I went last to. Pass here and save the files. It's going to go back in that same folder. And I just saved it on that folder also. So let's go back to PDF Expert here. And there it is, just come in. Same thing. I'm going to reduce that. You can type the address in if you want to, but if you copy and paste it like I just did, it's going to be there. Then go in here, and we're going to now do another box, and we're going to paste it again. Now we're going to say quote. And the beauty of this is when you do your appointments, if this doesn't work up here, then you can move it to another line if you want to. Okay, so that's part of how to keep track of everything. Let's grab my pencil here, and I'm going to use my Apple Pencil again, and we're going to show it. Again, I can voice command this in too, if I want to. July 25th, new line, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, and make the font smaller, of course. Okay, and I can make it smaller. I won't bother here and wasting your time. So you can put all your times in. Over here, we can say it was a 4. Oh, I'm going to use pencil, sorry. It's a 4. This one was a 3, 2. This was a 5. So I grade them all the way through. I got every one and every one that I'm showing all the time. So that's how you're going to do the showings, keeping track of all your showings. And you've got your, so now you've got your buyer criteria, you've got all your showings and everything. Let's go over here and let's look at Spadina. In here, now I'm just going to go, rather than wasting your time copying, I'm going to go into the forms folder and just do them right here. So on the forms folder here, pre-listing interview, same thing here. If you were just looking at selling and they weren't buying, you can still ask the same questions. You put their name and address up here, and their address. When did you buy it? Okay, you bought it in 1989. Where are you going to? Same thing. Why are you moving there? And when do you want to be there? Most important questions we can ask. Why, when, and where. And then I'm going to take on all the details. I'm going to ask them to write that note of all the information on the property. I can put that on here if I want to. I can actually add it to this if I want and add a page and paste it in there. So I have all their notes on it also. Okay, so that's your pre-listing interview. We just sold the house, and we got a check. I like meeting the other agent. It's sort of fun and picking up the check. Things have changed a little bit at our place where we can now do it all electronically with digital. I'm taking pictures of the check and we can deposit them right into the trust account now through a special piece of software. And it also does the FinTrack too. But anyways, here's the receipt. So I'm going to, if you want to, you can also go up top. You paste the date in here if you want to. Stamp. So I'll put the date in. I can put in who it's from, so forth. I'll also, I can actually sign it wherever you want to. Your name can go in and you can sign it wherever you want to. This is the way I signed listings before we had DocuSign. So from, I'll go up here to annotate, Joe Agent. And the buyer's name. I would do this right at Starbucks or Tim Hortons with the other agent, Remax, and your phone number. And it is a bank draft, payable to EXP. Amount, $1. Big deposit. Property, 123 Brimley. Received by, and I can pop my name in or I can write my name in. Now, what I'm going to do now, and please watch this, I'm going to deselect up here. I don't want anything selected at the top. I'm going to hold my finger in the middle of the screen. I'm going to take the check, which I happen to have right in front of me, and I'm going to tap on image right there, image. Bottom left corner, tap on the camera. You see a little camera there. Let's take a picture of that check. Use that photo. And I can crop it. Like so, perfect. Move it wherever I want. Now that it's cropped and got rid of all the other, now I've got it. How's that? Upper right, email. Flattened copy. I send everything as a flattened copy. Because otherwise, if you send it as original document, they can edit it. So send. Put in my email address. Send, done. So the agent on the other side of the table in Starbucks now has a receipt for the check, okay? And when I get to the bank, or when we used to do it this way, we would go to the bank and then get a deposit receipt, and they'd send them a copy of the deposit receipt to the bank, okay? We have changed that. Now we are using a different app now. I don't know if I can remember exactly where it is. Probably in the EXP folder. And it's FTNI, which we can FT. I'm not going to bother. Got so many apps in here. Oh, there it is. That's the Fin Tracker. Okay, and this allows me to also to deposit in a trust account. So those are fairly new apps now that we're using. Okay, one other thing too I want to show you in the forms. Let's go back here and let's go back into the pre-listing interview form. And that's the same thing here also, is don't have anything selected at the top, otherwise this won't work. So you don't want anything selected. Hold your finger down in the middle of this little area here. And you can bring in an image. Okay, and let's look for a house somewhere. How about me and that's me and Judy is my stepdaughter. How's that look? So you put the picture of the house in there, so you've always got a picture of the house. Also, you can add another page if you want to. You can add pages to this, insert a page, a blank page. Okay, and if you want yellow or white, I'll take a yellow one. You can also bring more pictures in if you want to keep track of everything on the property. It's amazing. You've done all this with one piece of software, PDF Expert. So it really is a wonderful, wonderful document. So we brought listings in. Let's see, I'm going to make sure dental foods, 3 folders, receipt a check, and do a signature. Well, doing a signature, if you want to, like sometimes trade record sheets and everything now comes in with, we use SkySlope, but you could use DocuSign, transaction desk, whatever you want. But so the signature I don't use much anymore, but it is there in case you wanted to use it. So it is there. You can take a picture of your signature and stick it in there. Take a look at the top up here. You can put in the date, like so. Check mark if you want a check mark where you want it. You can export to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just a text, or to an image if you want to. There's all kinds of things at the top up here that you can do. So just take a look through there. It's got an incredible amount of data up there that is really, really useful. Okay. Now, so we've been 40 minutes. That's pretty good. My 2-hour course is really only about an hour, so you're not going to be here for 2 hours. I didn't look at the chat box. Is there any questions that I'm missing at all? Let me take a look here. I don't see my chat box. I don't know why. Are there any questions that you want to ask me out loud when I look at the chat box? No? No, no, good. Okay, that's quiet. All righty. With that in mind, what I'd like to do, as was agreed, was I get to spend about 10 minutes, 15 at the very most, to tell you about EXP. That's your cost, is you have to suffer through with me for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm not going to show you anything that was created by EXP, basically. I started with, I had my own brokerage, as you may know. It was called Pixel Real Estate. I have to tell you, I absolutely loved it. I really liked it, but it became difficult when I needed to have agents helping and so forth when I was down south, because I'd be referring to another. How do you get the PDF in iCloud? It goes in automatically at the very first, at the very bottom down here. You'll see that. Just select that and that'll be your connection. It will automatically go in there from now on. And I believe it actually defaults to that. Okay, so I decided, Tony Gilchrist called me, and Tony had been a manager with Royal LePage for many years. He also set up Engels and Volker in Canada when he came in. And he phoned me, he says, have you looked at EXP Utility? And I says, never heard of them. This is 5 years ago. So he said, well, you should have a look at it. Yeah, okay, Tony, I'll look at it. I never looked at it. I couldn't be bothered. He called me back 2 weeks later. He said, what'd you think of it? I said, I'm sorry, Tony, I forgot to look at it. And he says, go on. He said, it's you. It is what you do. I said, oh, okay, I'll take a look. I look at it. And I realized, you see, I didn't want to hire agents. I love working with agents, but I don't want to hire them. So I never hired any. Believe me, I had agents come and ask them for work with me, but I said, no, I really don't want to. But this showed me that I could work with agents without all that extra responsibility. And I spend 4 months a year in Florida, so I refer my business back to them. And I get a nice percentage, plus I get a share of the company share. And I'm going to explain that to you. So I started with them 5 years ago. I have to tell you quite honestly, I have never regretted it once. Yes, they're growing pains because it had to grow in Canada. We are now, it was about 3,500 agents when I started. We now just passed 83,000. So all of this being recorded, by the way, so don't have to remember much. And 83,000 in 5 years from that, and they'll hit 100,000 very soon. There's no doubt we're growing so fast. We're over 2,500 approximately in Ontario alone. We're in 6 continents, I think now. They've grown that fast, and there is a revenue sharing. And I was very fortunate in that one of the commercial agent came with us, and he has been incredible. He was from Portugal before, so he went to Portugal. Ernest Furtado, he brought in Portugal. Then he went to Brazil, and he's brought in Brazil. So that's been really successful for me. It's been a very important part. But anyways, I want to show you a little bit more about it, okay? So I'm going to give you just a little slideshow, 5 minutes, and then I want to do a revenue share thing so you can see how it works. This is my own interpretation. This is not something that EXP has prepared for me. I did it myself and what I saw and why it worked for me, okay? So, about EXP Realty. And there's 3 things. Decide EXP is not for you. Decide to apply to work at EXP, or no pressure. Completely your call on what you want to do. Now, commission splits. Everybody's on an 80-20 split. So there's, and it always bothered me that other companies, well, this one gets more because he sells more. Everybody's on the same split. So your money is in, your money-making thing is this and the revenue share. There's a $16,000 cap. When the companies receive $16,000, you're on 100% for the rest of the year. After capping, 100% for the remainder of the year, as I just said. What is the ICON program? There are ICON agents. What happens there is after the 16,000 cap, you just have to do 20 transactions, and that may vary depending where you are, and you become an ICON agent. You'll receive your complete $16,000 cap back in the from the company as shares in the company. So essentially, you got 100%, totally 100% back, and you get $16,000 back. So the $16,000 you paid into the company, you get it back in shares. That's the beauty of that one large company that is on NASDAQ, which we are. We are not a franchise. We are one large company around the world. Equity program. When you close your first transaction, you get shares. When you reach the $16,000 cap, you get shares. When you sponsor an agent to join and they close their first transaction, you get shares. And you can, and I do this, have 5% of your income go into shares at a 10% discount, which is really nice. I have a number of shares. So the revenue sharing program, this is where if you bring agents into the company, you're going to get a commission from them, okay? I sat with an agent in, I think it was in New Orleans with one of the conferences. I go to all the conferences. I'm a bit of a junkie for conferences. I really love them. And he was the nicest guy you could talk to. He's a really nice guy. He was making over $300,000 a month just in the revenue sharing. So it's different levels. So you have, I want to get my mouse to work up there. There we go. You have level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's actually level 7 also. So you have 7 levels, and you see 3,200. These are if the agent's cap. That's what you're going to get from each agent. That comes out of the company share, not the agent share. You still get your full commission. Ultimate exit strategy. What if you sponsor enough agents to EXP? You can effectively stop selling real estate and have a passive income. We have no exit strategy. When you quit, you quit. You go break a leg or two, you're not going to have any income unless you have the proper insurance that will give you a disability insurance. So the beauty of EXP is you have an exit strategy that one day, if you want to retire, you can retire. If you have a team, you'll still profit with passive income you get from the revenue share, even if you leave your team in the future. What that means again is, and I used to wonder years ago, and somebody years ago tried to start a pension plan, but it wasn't, they never got it going off the ground. The brokers would never allow it. I believe that was the reason. Anyways, we now have one. This is my pension plan, and it's wonderful. There's no desk fees. There are no desk fees or franchise fees. It's a cloud brokerage, which cuts out brick and mortar and save on overhead, and those savings are passed on. And the next statement on the right bottom is so true. Brokerages don't own the franchise. The franchise owns the brokerages and takes your commission and does nothing for you. The franchises own the brokerage, not the broker. Office cloud environment. Okay, this is a little confusing to agents, so let me explain it. EXP is a virtual office environment that allows you to get support, coaching, mentoring, and network anywhere in the world from your laptop. And this is how they cut overhead and give back so much of their money. On the left-hand side there, you see an auditorium. There are numerous auditoriums depending where you live. And the teacher, the instructor, or the sales meeting broker of record is standing on the stage. And there are 3 screens that are going at a time. The right-hand side is if it's a team, and if you wish, you can have your own private office that you could have your weekly meetings. It's for a small fee. I think it might cost $75 a month and you have your own private office. Or if you still like office space, and if you already have an office, then by all means use your own private office if you want to. If you work from home, then of course you're saving that money. But EXP on number 3 down there is partnered with Regis Suites for free office space, or a private office for a small fee. So if you say, no, I want to meet my clients, I really want to meet them in person, you can rent a Regis office and meet them in person. You can rent them a permanent, on a monthly fee if you want to on a Regis office. They also have another one they just started, Regis owns it, it's called Spaces, I think it's called. So you get I think it's a 16% discount. I have, if I want to meet a client at an office, I can do that. Everyone wants you to win at EXP, and there's a reason for that. Everyone in your upline wants you to close more deals. If you come in under to me, I want you to sell more, and I'll do anything I can to help you, because when you sell more, I get more, and so do you. It's as simple as that. This creates an environment where everyone wants you to win and offers their secrets, support, and mentorship. And if you join the EXP with us, not only will you get first-class support, mentorship, and coaching, but you'll also get all that from the agents who sponsored us to EXP. So it's a win-win for us because the more you get, the more we get. So that's why it works so well. Glenn Sanford was with Keller Williams in Canada, and he's the founder, and he's a Canadian. He's down in Washington in the States now, but he is from Canada, and he said this profit sharing doesn't work. The brokers can spend whatever they want. This has to be out of the share of the company share, not the profit sharing. And that's why he started it this way. So he left the EXP. He was, I think, one of the top, within the top 7, I know that. So he was a really top agent, and he left it all to start this company, and it's just skyrocketed. Okay, world-class support. Upper right, online classes are available 24/7. The next picture down is actually a lesson, a class being taught. I teach on the stage here quite often, and you'll see 3 screens up there. We can have the 3 screens going if we want to, showing different things at the bottom. So that's our classroom environment. This one here, cutting edge technology. Upper left, search beach area, that computer there and down, you get your web page included. KV Core is a CRM. I understand Remax is now going to KV Core, and Royal LePage is talking. They might already be using KV Core. It is a phenomenal CRM. I teach it. It is a lead generation system. I don't look for leads anymore. After these number of years, my business falls on my lap from my past clients pretty well. But it's great for people that do want to create more business, because your lead generation, you get a new listing, you get everything included, all the flyers, everything. Automatically you can create flyers or post to there. If you wanted to go into really heavy lead generation, it starts at $250 a month, and then they will post all your lead generation data onto Facebook or Chrome or Google or whatever. So you can pay for it if you want to, or you can do it yourself. The reason it's good to pay for it is also because they're buying millions of dollars worth of space on Facebook, so they can do it for a cheaper rate than you can. The bottom right is our tech support. Got a problem with your computer and you don't know how to fix it? Call tech support. They'll fix it for you. They're just amazing, these guys, the guys and gals in the tech support department. And this one here, I thought, you know what, I gotta show you something that goes to the heart. What would your family say? What if you made more money? What if you got retirement income from your work efforts in real estate, which doesn't exist otherwise? What if your interest in income paid for children's education rather than bricks and mortar for your brokerage? What if you didn't have to work as many hours but made more money? What if the philanthropist in you allowed you to give more to your favorite charity? What if you create your own real estate team? And this last one, what if your estate could designate a licensed person to receive your revenue sharing? Your children could continue receiving. In other words, when you retire or when you have an estate, you can leave it all, as long as your estate is licensed, the person in your estate, they can continue, because it is a commission. They would continue getting your revenue sharing after you are gone. I think that's an amazing, and so that's